Which one is for real? Now, the Cowboys pass rush was the best in the NFL last week. Led the league in sacks and pressures. Micah Parsons, Demarcus Lawrence combined for 13 of the 22 pressures. They held Deshaun Watson to one completion on 11 attempts when he was under duress. Ooh. All right, and here we are at the film wall, and Teddy, there's a new man running that defense in Dallas. Now show us how it's different.
Yeah, it's Mike Zimmer, the new defensive coordinator, Greeny. He's the most important off-season signing, in my opinion, for the Dallas Cowboys. He was brought in to stop those West Coast offenses, Green Bay, all right, San Francisco. But in New Orleans, Clint Kubiak is the offensive coordinator, and he has those principles. So what's the difference now in Dallas? Complexity, what they do on the defensive side of the ball. And you know the pass rushers. Rule number one, find Micah Parsons. He's over here on the offensive right. You see the right guard knows he's over there. We're going to slide right. They get this slide done, and they think they have everything picked up, which is great. Kendricks drops out. The slide is great. Micah Parsons is blocked here, but the matchup on the left side is what we're looking at after Kendricks drops out right there. 2-on-1 on the offensive left. You see a free runner coming to Deshaun Watson right there, and he's running for his life. Kendricks dropped out on the number 2 receiver. Now he's like, oh, there's a quarterback. He comes back and makes the tackle. It's this type of complexity. So Micah Parsons now in the A gap, but Demarcus Lawrence down here on the right, 2 of the best rushers in the league. Send him, right? He is dropping 102 total sacks in the coverage, but Zim doesn't care. It's about the matchups up here on the offensive left. The 4-on-3 gets the sack, and now you're in their heads. Okay, so here's the famous double mug, okay? 2 guys in the A gap, 6, 7, 8 up sometimes. They all drop out. They got it picked up. Micah Parsons is taken care of. He's triple teamed, but what do we have? We have a nice little pocket here. Deshaun, sit there, throw the ball, deliver it, but they're in his head now. It's too late. He feels he doesn't have the time. Now he's got to run for his life. Mike Zimmer plays mind games on quarterbacks, and that's going to be the big difference today.
Yeah, he's played some with you, I would imagine, over the years. So let's
Once
look
or twice.
Yeah, let's look at an offense, and one of those West Coast offenses, maybe the best one in the whole league. Kansas City here. We went back there. Take us a look at what Andy Reid showed us in Week 1.
We had some new additions in Kansas City from last year, and a big notable one, Xavier Worthy, fastest 40 time of all time. And nobody likes speed like Andy Reid. Here he is in Philly with Deshaun Jackson. We all know the cheetah, Tyreek Hill. And listen, a couple weeks ago, I got to go to training camp and visit both with Patrick and Kelsey. Both these guys couldn't stop talking about a different guy, Rashee Rice.
Right.
His development and what he means to this offense, and specifically his ability to catch the ball and get upfield. Here he is working against all-pro linebacker Roquan Smith. Ted, you might know a little jerk route here.
Can't do that.
Absolutely burns him. And this is what I love.
No chance.
4 defenders, he's boxed in. What's he going to do? Puts his head down and splits him for another 10 to 12 yards. Again, same game, working against the Ravens, over the middle in traffic. Strong catch. All-pro safety, Kyle Hamilton, have a seat. Right here he is, strong through traffic again. Here, a defender coming from the outside. Watch him secure the ball and get upfield. Again, another 12 yards. And I don't think people know this. I don't know if you guys know this. Look at this. Since week 12 last year, 166 more yards after the catch than any player in football. He's the best in the NFL at this. He's a huge part of this offense. Also, little to note, last year against this Bengals defense went for 127. Big matchup today. I hope they're ready for him.
Now, they're going to need it with Marquise Brown out now for the season. As Shefty told us, they're going to need a lot more from Rice and probably a lot more from the rookie. So let's stay on that game here. The Bengals come in with plenty of swagger despite losing to New England last week. They're not panicking, but it's never too early to be thinking about the playoffs. So we introduce you to our researcher extraordinaire, Evan Kaplan, who is going to tell us that there are must-wins in Week 2. Cap, explain why.
Never too early, Greeny. Good to be on with you guys again. So these are the 3 options after this week, right? Start 2-0, 1-1, 0-2. So what we did, we looked at the last 5 seasons and looked at based on those starts, what is the percent of teams that reach the playoffs? Now, a team like the Chiefs, you win today, you get to 2-0. 79% of those teams made it to the postseason, looking pretty good. What about the Bengals at 0-1? If they win today, upset the Chiefs in Kansas City, 45% of those teams that started 1-1 in the last 5 years went on to the postseason. But look at this. If the Bengals lose today, 5% of teams in the last 5 seasons that started 0-2 reached the postseason. Let's dig in a little deeper on that. 41 total teams in the last 5 years started 0-2. Two 2 of them guys went on to reach the playoffs. Now, the good news for Cincinnati fans, the Bengals were one of those teams. In 2022, they started 0-2, won the division, ended up losing to the Chiefs in the AFC Championship game. The other team was the Texans with C.J. Stroud last year. So if you're going to start 0-2 and recover, you better have a big-time quarterback like Joe Burrow, C.J. Stroud. And why is this so important today? Look at all these matchups, guys. There are 6 games between 0-1 teams. That is the most in any week 2 in NFL history. And you look at some of these teams, these are teams that we talked about before last week as teams with big playoff expectations. A little bit of pressure on them today to avoid falling 0-2.
So Teddy was trying to
I love the numbers,
downplay.
Cap. I love the numbers.
So I loved this stat. We went with it on Get Up all week long. You are trying to downplay the significance because of 2 seasons you had in your career.
1996, my rookie season, 0-2. We went to the Super Bowl and lost to the Packers. And then, of course, 2001, we win it. We win 0-2. Now, I'm telling you, the numbers are strong. It just depends. You give me the 0-2 teams, tell me their head coach, tell me their veteran leaders, and I'll tell you their chances, because that's what really matters. Bill Parcells was the head coach, and then Bill Belichick was the head coach. You got a strong coach like that.
Let me tell you about a head coach that started 0-2 once. Me. I got fired, so I look at it differently than you do it. And you watch what happens. The teams that are going 0-2, everybody's going to fire the dang coach. So you watch what happens, Bill Belichick.
So he was part of the 95%, and you were part of the 5%. So we're going to look at some of those games Cap just talked about. 0-1 team against 0-1 team. You tell me who's going to avoid falling to 0-2. Randy, Raiders at the Ravens. Who you got?
Well, I'm going to tell you the Ravens, man. I know they're not going to fire Harbaugh, but what I'm really looking for, I need to see a more accurate quarterback in crunch time, money down, red zone, and that's the man right there I'm talking about. We know what he can do with his legs, but right.
Welcome to Star Trek Fleet Command. In this game, you will have to make important strategic decisions that impact your gameplay and player experience. Will you focus on upgrading your warp engines to reach star systems and planets unknown? Will you prioritize upgrading your armaments to deal with threats that might arise? Or will you focus on a more evasive route and build impenetrable shields so you can wander the vast galaxy in peace? Choose wisely and become the captain of your own destiny in Star Trek Fleet Command.
Nice. Come on. Oh, yeah.
Ebony. Download now.
Right now, being able to take himself to the next level, MVP in regular season opposed to the MVP of the postseason. I need to see him a little bit more accurate on the money down. Lamar Jackson, all eyes on you, my man.
All right, come on. Give me Giants at Washington. For me, this is all about Washington. Washington, I think, gets the W today, and it's all because of this guy right here. Man, of all the rookie quarterbacks, Jaden Daniels looked the best in week 1. You know, it's funny how sometimes you wonder how college is going to translate to the pros. Man, this guy's athleticism and speed is elite. I'm here to tell you it does translate. He's a difference maker. Special player. He's at home today.
Yes,
I think he gets the W. Can't wait to see it.
They win that game by default. But I'm taking a look at this. I'm going Jags over the Browns. Why? Because of that defensive line, man. The Jags D-line is absolutely for real. Deshaun Watson's going to be running for his life. We know that. They're on to their their third left tackle because the left tackle decided he was hurt after that performance against Dallas last week. I don't blame him. But anyway, I'm taking the Jags way too much of a pass rush against Deshaun again this week.
Well, fellas, there's the Cardinals and there's the Rams, and I'm going to go with the Cardinals here. I mean, we all love Matthew Stafford and what he does with Puka Nacua especially, but when you look at who he isn't going to have, okay, in terms of who's lost, Puka's out, Higbee's out, and these are 3 offensive linemen that are going to be out. So defensive coordinator in Arizona, Nick Rawlins, you got to go after Stafford. You got to put the pressure on him. Let Kyler go ahead, score some points, but who's going to block for Stafford? That's just the whole thing, you know? So I'm going to go with the Cardinals over the Rams.
Cardinals had a winnable game last week against Buffalo, obviously. People look at the Rams and the Seahawks and the 49ers, I think, as the class of that NFC West. Maybe Arizona, a little bit of a surprise early in the season?
Yeah, shocked. I mean, they played tough last week. Rex called it. They're a good football team. They're going to control it, especially running the football. I mean, Kyler Murray played great. This is a juggernaut of a run game. It'll be interesting to see, though, if they can get after Stafford. Despite the injuries, he still played lights out last week.
Ooh, you buying that? We buying Arizona today over
the only way I'm going to buy the Arizona Cardinals over the Rams, they got to get the 4th overall pick the ball. Last week's performance, he had 3 targets, 1 catch. What'd you draft him for? Marvin Harrison Jr., big day, they can win it.
I just think Kyler Murray in September, healthy, explosive, fast, big difference.
Yeah, they jumped out to that big lead last week. All right, it's my favorite moment on the show. It is time.